And the view from my office today. I tried to do a video out here on Monday, I think it was, and the wind was blowing so hard it just made a horrible video. I just deleted it all after I got it downloaded. But I talked the other day about this calcium tissue and bridging. And what I mean by bridging is you may not need all of these limbs to make a tree or all the grafts we put on, but you need them on there for a certain diameter of stump in order to heal the stump up so you don't get some dieback. And this is what I mean by bridging. You can see how it's bridged the gap between this graft and this graft. All right, here's the top of the sign where they painted it 2 years ago when we did these. That's the graft. Here's the top where they painted it. That's the graft. And these are the buds growing off of the graft. There's a bud grew, and there's a bud grew. And this is the sign. The top of it was up here. And this is the bridging, the calcium tissue, the undifferentiated cells that bridge between the signs here to here. And it heals up very nicely. These were beautiful trees, but unfortunately the wrong variety. The market didn't hold up for these. So we're coming back and grafting onto the graft. And when you do that, that's called an interstem, where you have a variety, and then a graft, and then another variety on top of that. And in this case, it's a double interstem because you are on a mazured rootstock, grafted in the nursery. Trees are grown, skenas were grafted on. We come along and we put sweethearts on. Now we cut the sweethearts off and we're putting on scatter ray. So that's an interstem graft. Yeah, I think that's all I wanted to talk about. I just wanted to explain an interstem and show that that bridging. So what we're doing here, these are going to make beautiful little trees. We're leaving this to act as a nurse limb. It's called a nurse limb, and that's to take some of that initial flood of sap that comes up in the spring, so that we do not flood these grafts. They need a drier wood so that they heal in rather than just sour, sitting in all that sap. So these will leaf up and start to draw that sap and give that a place to go rather than flooding the grafts. As I chainsaw, I kind of choose the limbs that I want to shape that tree. So there'll be buds coming out this way and the other way and off of this one, and they'll make a nice round tree out of them. Okay, from my office, I was going to explain just a bit further on this interstem thing. Talked about the rootstock, and then this graft here, this section, this portion being an interstem with a final variety on top of it. With grafting, it just naturally happens. You always have an interstem with grafting because you have a rootstock, a variety, and then another variety on top with that interstem in between. But interstem grafting is also used as a purpose. I mean, with grafting, it just naturally happens unless you're just grafting onto rootstock, and we do that sometimes. But there is sometimes interstem is done for a reason. Many years ago, in the early 80s, as a matter of fact, I did a grafting job where we did some bridge grafting on pear trees. And what bridge grafting is usually you have a damaged area on a tree, and you could take a piece of graft wood, a piece of sign wood. I have some video up actually about bridge grafting, but you can take a piece of sign wood and graft it into the bottom and over the damaged area, which is usually, sometimes it's tractor blight, but most often it's mouse damage. You can put your piece of graft wood in, graft it into the bottom, and then bridge up over the damaged area and graft into the top. And that's why it's called bridge grafting. So, one time I did some bridge grafting, and what I was doing in this particular job was grafting over the interstem. I was getting back into the root system, which was very vigorous, and grafting above the interstem and into the variety. And the reason I was doing that was because they had grafted Old Home pear upside down onto the rootstock and then grafted the old home pear on top of that, and they did that in order to make a dwarfing tree to really slow that down. But it slowed it down too much, and it didn't get enough nutrients into the top variety, so I came in and grafted over that interstem and made a bridge from the rootstock up to the variety to feed the nutrients past that interstem, which was slowing it down too much, and it worked. I put more vigor back into the top of the tree, and it worked out real well. So anyway, just a little bit more information on the interstem grafting. Thanks for watching.
After these messages, we'll be right